warm, open fall let people work in their landscapes way into November and even into the early parts of December when we set some record temperatures. That also meant that people kind of ran out of things to do and probably did a little bit of activity in the landscape that shouldn't happen late in the fall. That, of course, is pruning. We don't want to prune late in the fall because you open those wounds essentially in the tree or in the shrub. Then we get those temperatures that abruptly drop 50 or 60 degrees. We get desiccating or drying winds. We don't get enough moisture. And you do get a lot of dieback, or you can get a lot of dieback in the twigs or in the shrubs or the trees themselves. A couple examples that I've seen already this winter are boxwoods. We have people that have done a lot of pruning or the rounding over, shearing them into those forms, which of course boxwood will actually tolerate quite well. You can already see that the tips of the very new growth that may be initiated even as late as September are dead as a doornail. They are crispy, they're brown. That is not going to be live tissue come spring of the year. We saw a lot of pruning that was reducing the height or taking out a very large piece of shrubs, leaving not much for canes for the spring season. That occurred a lot also on lilacs and some of those early spring flowering shrubs, which of course, again, is not the time we prune because all of those flower buds have now been removed. Another thing that did happen, and we saw a lot of this, was shrubs that had been pruned or had really attempted to go dormant, re-leafed or started flowering again pretty late this year. Sometimes that happens rather naturally in August or early September, but not into November. So the long and the short of it is, what you need to do if you did do a lot of that pruning and did so much of that pruning that perhaps you shouldn't have, pay good attention to the quality of the care that you're giving those shrubs and trees going through the winter months. If we get into a situation where you are able to water, go ahead and water those trees and shrubs. Don't start pruning again, and certainly do not prune until we are a little bit closer to the break of dormancy in the spring. Make sure you remember that rule that we don't want to take off half the plant or 3/4 of the plant, and this is particularly true with trees. We want to make sure that we keep those ratios of live tissue to removed tissue really, really strong so the trees and shrubs can recover from the activity that we've done with those pruning shears and saws.